It is 6:30, so whenever you are ready,
Yeah.
call the meeting in order.
Only, you don't need to come to mic, I'm okay, right? I'd like to call the order,
All right,
roll call.
Mrs. Grove,
Here.
Mrs. Lammle,
Here.
Mrs. Lebudzick,
Here.
and Mrs. Petropolis.
Here, let's say, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, introduction of guests.
We have quite a few people here from the community, so I'm not going to introduce every single person. And then we also have Mrs. Nothnagel from the district as well. So thank you, everyone, for being here.
Okay, so 2.0 public participation. Anyone? Okay, we're done.
Nothing.
Okay, 3.0 potential board action to appoint school board member for a 2-year term expiring in April 2025.
Someone like to make,
I'll make the motion.
who would you like to make a motion for?
Oh.
Do we have to do 3 separate ones?
Yes, for the
Okay.
motion. Yes. So why don't we make a motion for
Stacy
Stacy?
Durkin.
Okay.
A second.
All right, so we had Joy. Joanna. Mrs. Grove,
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Lebudzick,
Aye.
and Mrs. Petropolis.
Aye, potential board action to appoint a school board member for 2 years and a term expiring April 2025 for Antonio Medina.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All right. All right. Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Lebudzick,
Aye.
Mrs. Grove,
Aye.
and Mrs. Petropolis.
Aye, and then 5.0 potential board action to appoint a school board member for a 2-year term expiring in April 2025 for
Well,
Lord
Laura
Schroeder.
Schroeder. Yep. I'll make the motion.
A second.
You didn't see it?
Thank you.
Mrs. Lebudzick,
Aye.
Mrs. Grove, Mrs. Lammle, and Mrs. Petropolis.
Aye. Okay, and then 6.0 administration of the oath of office for our new board members.
All right, so if we can have our board members come and stand up here, and Mrs. Petropolis is going to do the oath of office with you. Nope, they can read it together. Now you're gonna be live streamed. just so you
Yeah.
know.
We were hoping for you guys all to do it in sync, if that's okay. It's making it easier. It's not about, nope, okay. It does matter, it does matter the power of breathing.
Don't want to say it.
Guys are ready.
I, Stacy Burkin, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of Chicago Ridge School District number 127.5, in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois, to the best of my ability. I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual, and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting. I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district. I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Chicago Ridge School District 127.5. I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure the continuous assessment of our student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law. I shall serve as an education key advocate on behalf of students in our community schools to advance the vision for Chicago Ridge School District 127.5 and I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, offering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
Hey.
Well, congratulations on officially becoming school board members. We're very excited to have you join us. I know Mr. Petropolis has some certificates to pass out. And you can see now why we have you do it all at once instead of.
It's a mouthful. Yours is on top. Oh, and I read it, so
Thank you.
congratulations.
Mr. Medina, if I can have this.
Photographer.
All right, and Antonia. There you go, congratulations, just like handing out the diploma, open it up, show it to the crowd. There you go. It's still there. Okay, and last but obviously not least, to Andy Burkin, Stacy, that's okay, that's how we're cheaters out in public. Okay, congratulations, thank you. Another clap, thank you guys so much.
And before we have anyone officially take their seats, I'm assuming some kids would like some cookies and adults as well. So please come over and grab a snack. We'll hang out for a little bit before we continue with the meeting. So congratulations. All right, guys, come on up.
Come on, someone's gotta be first, come on, girlfriend.
Usually
Me.
Go.
Yeah, all you need to do is pretzel. Right?
Awesome.
awesome.
I don't know, you know, it's pretty neat.
Make sure you're safe.
Yeah. Girls are like a cookie.
Can I do one thing?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Adam.
You got this for me?
Nice meeting you. You don't have to stay at home.
Yeah. Girls, if you're done, table.
Oh. No, no worries. I get it. You learn how to work with us. Or no, maybe Sarah. Oh, my goodness. I know, I just.
It's not free here.
I know, look at that pretzel. Look at me.
Oh,
God. Paperwork. All right.
Yeah, something.
I know.
I told Dad, I said, just get something good. And I was, yes, you did really good. There you go. Yes.
Okay.
We got it? You got it.
Perfect. I'm moving out of it.
Got it?
How's baseball?
They're at a game right now. It's crazy, but very good.
We would be celebrating.
Yeah.
She loves softball, she just doesn't like
We can spin it, we just have the resolutions.
Okay.
And the seating. I think we're going to close session.
Okay. You want me to do it while we're going?
Yeah, but we gotta get them seated, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so if our new board members want to come sit, you can also bring dessert with you.
Yes.
We have just like 3 quick things to vote on before we go into closed session.
Okay, just bring them around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we have Tony over here, Laura, and yeah,
Yeah.
They're not.
and then when you sit down, if you can try to enter yourself into the meeting. Nice to meet you, Matt.
I am up and running already.
And we can usually, when we're in a small room like this, it seems like I just keep unmuted and most people can hear that. So you don't have to worry about unmuting yourself.
Otherwise we get that feedback.
So you just gotta shout. You know,
We always tell you.
Yeah, and then once you've logged in, you'll see the agenda is in your blue book there. And we are down to 7.0, bless you.
Thank you.
6.0 was the administration of the oath of office, and then we will start on 7.0. And these are resolutions appointing specific board members. They just changed this law recently. And yes, you do need to vote on yourself, which feels really weird, but I would recommend you vote yes. But that's up to you. So
Okay. All right, so moving on to 7.0, potential board action to approve a resolution appointing Stacy Birkin to fill a vacant seat from the April 4th, 2023 election. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Grove,
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Labudzik,
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Birkin
Aye.
and Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. 8.0, potential board action to approve a resolution appointing Laura Schroeder to fill a vacancy from April 4th, 2023.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Mrs. Labudzik,
Aye.
Ms. Birkin,
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Ms. Grove,
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
And Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. And 9.0, potential board action to approve a resolution appointing Antonio Medina to fill a vacancy from the April 4th, 2023 election.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Labudzik,
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Birkin,
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove
Aye.
and Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. Okay, congratulations. everyone.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
so much. Excited. Okay, so 10.0, potential board action to elect a IASB representative and alternate.
So what this is every year, the state of Illinois has what they call the Triple I Conference. It's always the weekend before Thanksgiving. And it is the largest gathering for professional development for school boards and business officials and superintendents. And that's always in Chicago. And we try to go down as a board and try to learn some things that we can bring back here. There is an official delegate assembly where they vote on different positions for districts across the entire state. Typically, what we have done in the past, if they are willing, we ask the board to appoint the school board president as the delegate and then the vice president as the alternate in case the president is unable to be there. Doesn't have to be that way, but that is what we've always done. And we'll talk a little bit more about the conference itself, and hopefully we can get as many of us down there as we can. It's a good time to just build relationships and to learn some stuff that we can bring back. So we're looking for a nominee for both the representative and an alternate.
I will make a motion to
Okay.
nominate Chrissy.
Okay. So we have Chrissy as a possible delegate and any motion for an alternate.
I make a motion to nominate Joy Levinsky as the alternate.
Any discussion?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good? Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Okay, I know, looking forward to it. Last year, was standing room only, I
Yeah.
know all about it.
Mrs. Schroeder, Mrs. Labudzik,
Aye.
Mrs. Bergen,
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Grove,
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
And Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. Okay, so 11.0, potential board action to purchase lunchroom tables, benches and cabinets for Ridge Central School in the amount of $29,579.34. I practiced on.
You
my-
got
Yeah,
this.
yeah, and we definitely have a need over there at Ridge Central for new tables. Just they don't look great and they don't function how we want them to. The new ones for Finley just came in last week and they look awesome. And the kids are really enjoying them. So we would recommend that we approve this one.
I'll second that motion.
Mrs. Grove,
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle,
Aye.
Mrs. Birkin,
Aye.
Mrs. Labudzik,
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mr. Medina. And Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. Okay, 12.0 adjourn to closed session.
Yes, and
He's got to read some.
I get to read the nice long. So we are, no,
Goals.
yeah, please don't make that one of the goal. I don't think that benefits the students there. The discussion of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with the Open Meetings Act as defined in the Open Meetings Act, Section 2C1. The discussion of collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or representatives or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees as defined in Section 2C2. The discussion of security procedures, school building safety, and a security and use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or reasonably potential danger of the safety of employees, students, staff, public or public safety as defined in Section 2C8. The discussion of student disciplinary action as defined in Section 2C9. And we will not be talking about any litigation during this meeting.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Mr. Medina. Mrs. Schroeder. Mrs. LeBudzik.
Aye.
Mrs. Birkin.
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
And Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. Okay,
Going to
so,
closed section.
yeah,
at 6.
today is.
Okay, Well, we're gonna have to clear out. and
Oh,
go
sorry, I
to-
thought I said before they left,
All right, let me.
going into just a minute.